if in Champions Select here for game number 2, the trend will continue for Aimee and Snake. So far, though, the bans have been flying through, and that's a Taric ban, Froskerin. Coming up from Aimee as their second ban heading into Champions Select. Lissandra was the first. Shen is going to be the first ban that comes out from Snake.
And again, Taric makes sense. The execution has still been very hit or miss. I think that there were plenty of opportunities last game where Taric was used well and where there were missed opportunities. That said, Aimee are like, take it away. We don't want to deal with it. Obviously, it led to that first blood in the cheeky bush maneuver, very similar to what Splice did in the EU LCS.
Which is something that I was very critical of teams back when I was casting the GPL. They would lose to an X-Champion and they would refuse to ban X-Champion over and over again and state during interviews we thought we could beat it. So it's good to see Aimee just taking it away.
And just underlining again, it's so great to see Snake be kind of on the cutting edge of strategy in terms of level 1s on the new 6.15 patch, because again, you know it's going to be a defensive fan because everyone's just trying to figure things out. Let's stand in a bush because we guarantee it's not going to be Warden. Let's catch them off guard.
Well, we will see the same two bans coming out from Snake. It's Shen and Twisted Fate being taken away. Yes, Athena, they get put into the mid lane, but both Athena and Bamey have played this Twisted Fate before.
But all eyes are now on the Nidalee ban, which is still missing. Now, Snake could drop it off here against 6.15. Nidalee clears the jungle very fast. Instead, it is going to be the Vladimir. So, do they priority pick the Nidalee to keep it out of SOFM's hands?
And we even have the Gragas being banned out on Aimee's side of the map. So, interested to see what the next few picks are going to be, because a ton of power picks are still left open in this game, Froskerin.
Looks like they're checking out the Rek'Sai, another jungler that hit the ban list previously. I do like the fact that Gragas was banned because, again, Athena, Bamey, very comfortable on champions like Victor. But with Rek'Sai the priority, that should give SOFM the all clear.
He might actually lock in the Nidalee here coming into this match. Flandre has instantly locked in the gangplank. Shows that, yes, he can play the Graves in the top lane, but he will show Amazing J how to play this gangplank as well.
Exactly. If you think that Flandre is a phenomenal Graves top lane that he displayed in Game 1, you should see his gangplank. It has pretty much been perma-banned away from him since he debuted it. He is the gangplank master of the LPL, and things are about to get gross.
I mean, he's one of the carry masters as well. He plays a ton of carry champions. Yes, he has Poppy games and Maokai games in here and there. He has some pseudo tanks, being the Fizz, being the Echo, but everything else he's played is just carry after carry.
The great thing about Flandre is he had this reputation in the LSPL as kind of being the last standing great top laner that wasn't in the LPL. You have to think for a long time, the LPL had great top laners. You think about Going. That guy's cheekbones. I mean, he pretty much carried OMG's world teams on his cheekbones and jawline alone. Flandre had this reputation of being a Fizz one-trick. He was the super star all carry for his team. He comes into the LPL, his very first game, he plays Rumble. Had never debuted the champion professionally, and then he plays Maokai. So Flandre has shown that he will step up and be that team player, play what his team needs, and be a role player, but it's always comfortable to see him go back to picks like the Fizz, like the Gangplank, and like the Graves.
Well, coming into this game, he will be picking up the Gangplank and trying to show if that's what this team really needs heading into the second match. We did get Karma being locked in instead of the Nidalee for Snake as well, a champion that we saw Wailers play to great success a couple of nights ago on LGD. On the flip side, we will see Aimee locking the June as well as Echo for the next two picks.
And it makes perfect sense to go for the Karma versus the Nidalee simply because you're still kind of sussing out your jungle matchup there. Echo, we've seen kind of the return. He not necessarily returned. He really never fell out of favor in the LPL. It was really the Trinity Force adjustments that really brought Echo back if he wants to go towards that itemization or a bit more tanky. He's got more flexibility. His 1v1 matchups are still incredibly powerful, although we've kind of seen the return of the Echo Poppy matchup. So we'll see if this Gangplank will be a flex pick at all, if Flandre's really committed to this.
Could possibly be so because they do lock in the Hecarim, and it seems like they're going to be settling in for Siva as their AD carry of choice heading into this match, which does mean Snake leave their mid lane pick for last unless they flex the Gangplank or even the Karma.
See, we talked about how Snake are so creative and versatile in their different playbooks and compositions. So we had a Siege composition last game with some anti-dive on the back of it. Now we're just going straight back to the full 5v5. They're taking a page out of Aimee's playbook, and they're going to say, okay, you want the 5v5? We're ready for you this time.
We're still waiting to see what Aimee are going to pick up to round out their team composition. Still missing a mid laner as well as a support, unless the Echo is eventually picked into the mid lane.
We have seen that in the LPL.
We've seen Jin being picked into the mid lane as well. Not quite in the LPL, but other regions have decided that that champion belongs in the mid lane sometimes. Wouldn't say it's that successful, but it has been there before. highly doubt that we will see Aimee put that into the mid lane. Still waiting to see what they decide to pick up. It is Athena heading into this match. Not too much of a big difference between Athena and Baimi, but Aimee do believe there is, and they do substitute them in and out of games from time to time. Alistar will be locked in as their support of choice, and Cassidy will be picked up for Athena in the mid lane. So
taking an assassin into the mid lane as opposed to the Victor, which was available for Athena. Very comfortable in that champion. Likewise, things like the Varus and the Rise. But still kind of the same old from Aimee. It's a very roam-heavy, skirmished, mobility-based composition. Again, it's kind of these 3v3s that they really thrive in, unlocking Road on that Alistar, unlocking Athena on that Cassidy, and trying to skirmish and find number disadvantages across the map.
Still waiting for Snake to pick up their final pick. Normally on the red side, we see a mid lane being picked up last, but they do have the Karma picks, so they have a flex going into the mid lane. Could potentially be a support to be picked up by Jay-Z. You can see on his screens, he's been very vocal communicating with his coach, so it might be his champion of choice.
A really good adaptation that I already like from Aimee's comp is the fact that they have a much stronger 2v2 on the top side of the map between their jungler and their top laner. The fact that they have that echo there should alleviate a lot of pressure of SOFM continually evading a Voidless and punishing him on his camps.
And we do see Jay-Z instantly lock in the Braum there, so it was a flex pick of the Karma, which will be heading into the mid lane for tank. Up against the Cassidy and Braum. Sivir, a very, very punishing lane, and they're up against Jhin and Alistar.
This is one of the better Karma compositions that I've seen come out of the LPL. RNG have been a big proponent of taking that Karma into the mid lane and really setting the trend there, but a lot of the time is when you take that Karma, you lose a lot of damage potential in the late game, but the fact that it's flanked not only by the Sivir, who's going to really go off on late game, but also Flandre's Gangplank, I feel like they have a very healthy balance of everything.
They certainly do. You know, when I think of Karma, I think back to LGD. Punish pulled it out to take down Vladimir's. Wayless has been dominating people with the pick, so interested to see how Snake are going to be able to use that champion in the mid lane. Aimee, though, going back to another tried and tested team comp, seems like they're going to take Snake to that 5-on-5, and Snake are more than happy to respond here today.
It's now a question, can Aimee outmaneuver them?
And that question will be answered as we head into game number 2 between Snake eSports and Aimee. We're back onto Summoner's Rift for game number 2 between Aimee and Snake eSports. Snake eSports were able to take game number 1 in a very decisive fashion with a very unique team composition as well. Aimee looking to try and fight back early on in this match, and if you are a Snake fan, all eyes will be on SFM. We saw his documentary earlier tonight that was aired before the broadcast, and he's picked up Hecarim here today. A little bit different in terms of the playstyle he normally goes towards. I'll be interested to see how he's going to be able to use that champion here today.
So Hecarim has 2 different modes. He can either run out of the jungle if he gets snowballed and have that Trinity Force available to him, which is what we really expect from SOFM on this champion, more of that carry-oriented role. But typically, he's kind of a farm jungler. And when you see Hecarim, you know that you can take something a little bit more passive, because you're waiting for him to ramp up before he can show his face on the map and have really successful ganks at that level 6. And the big difference here is that 2v2 on the top side of the map. So last game, SOFM and Flandre were constantly shoved forward and really punishing a Voidless and Amazing J. With Flandre on the gangplank, he should actually lose control of this lane relatively early. Hecarim will be locked down in his own jungle to try to passively farm, and so they should lose a lot of that pressure.
See Snake adapting to the level 1 quite nicely again here. They were able to ward out Aimee's bottom lane.
This is cute.
And stop them from taking Krugs, and now Road and Jinzhao think they're the Grunt, but they're not there, Frosco, and instead they're just waiting inside the brush.
He revealed himself though, so
unlucky.
Instead it's just going to be wave control for Martin, and Jay-Z, and this is actually really big because they're forcing Road and Jin Zhao to go all the way around, not only take a lot of chip damage, but again, get control of this wave and start the push early, which means they'll have experience advantage, and Jin Zhao will be more reliant on picking up his last hits than trading successfully with Sivir.
Road even used his tongue on his brace very early there. Jay-Z still has both procs of that, so that next wave, when they do hit level 2, will be coming a lot faster for Snake. SOFM, he did the exact same thing that we saw Aimee do last game, which get a little bit of help from the Gangplank on his Raptor camp, and has not moved up towards his red buff first, instead goes straight towards the blue buff to start things off.
We should have a much more traditional clear from SOFM. Typically, he likes to prioritize his big buffs and then immediately go into the Scuttle Crab control, because again, it's about being fast to the jungle, setting up yourself for ganks and trying to take control and isolate the 1v1 jungle matchup. On Hecarim, he's a bit more fragile.
I'm just surprised he hasn't taken down any Krugs yet. That's just not SOFM. Who's this imposter?
We'll see if he continues to be aggressive and invade, as meanwhile...
And Martin taking a lot of damage. The crit comes out. Jay-Z does block the deadly flourish, but that crit shot that comes out from Jin just nails Martin.
Yeah, slightly misplayed, which means that all of the advantage that Jay-Z and Martin had being early into that lane has now completely fizzled out.
And Road even trying to do what he can to stop Martin heading back to base, successfully does so and forces Sivir to use the health potion.
But why that's really key is because Martin would have backed and had enough gold to get a slight item advantage, which would have put Martin and Jay-Z back in control of the lane. So Road overextending, trading some of his health into the incoming wave, stops that from happening, and again, retains control for Jin Zhao and Road.
Martin and Jay-Z just trying to farm up wherever they possibly can now. Good use of the Boomerang Blade to pick up the last bits of CS, but Road, you can see how he's positioning in this lane, making sure every single time Martin steps up to try and get some CS, he just walks right next to him and threatens him with the headbutt pulverize combo. We do check in with the mid lane, however, as Tank has been able to shove Athena underneath his turret quite effectively. The Cassidy is farming up fairly well and is keeping up in CS with Tank.
Snake's early game is much more reliant on Tank, really punishing his lane and finding the lead there. He has a lot of tools in his composition, in his kit, to continue to punish Cassidy, especially before that level 6. And there shouldn't be a lot of help coming from a Voidless.
And then we see the adaptation coming up from SOFM. No early aggressive invades coming in, takes the Scuttle Camp down early, going straight back to his red buff, clears out his jungle nice and healthy. Went back to base very early as well to pick up his double jungle items as well as the Hunter's Potion.
Yep, just a very traditional, slow, safe clear from SOFM. So it's nice to see a very young superstar kind of readjust, reassess, and put some patience on.
This is the side of the map we have not checked in with yet during this game. Flandre is going up against Amazing J. They've just been trading back and forth. Flandre is very comfortable on this champion. Amazing J incredibly comfortable on the Echo, and you can already see that by the way he's been trading in this lane, making sure he always takes advantage of Flandre. He's able to take down the barrels and stay away from the range as well.
Eyes on a Voidless though.
He's moving up to the top side of the map. He's waiting in the tri-brush and has not been spotted out by a ward. There are a couple of pings to tell him to go back in towards the jungle of Aimee, but they don't know exactly where the Rek'Sai is.
The best case scenario here is that they burn Flandre's flash. He's so close to his tower, very safe, although he is running a bit low on mana. But they don't have a lot of hard CC to lock down this Gangplank.
They're still looking for it. Amazing J pushing the wave out nice and slowly, waiting for Gangplank to make a mistake. But Voidless, a little bit impatient, decides he doesn't want to do anything up the top side of the map. Instead, he's looking towards Tank, who's going aggressive towards Athena. He has to be careful, but here comes a Voidless, gets the knockup. Will lock him down, but Athena does not have Riftwalk, can't quite close the gap and capitalize on the crowd control from a Voidless.
The thing about a Voidless's solo lanes is they don't actually have a lot of kill pressure and before that level 6 mark. So for now, a Voidless should just stick his head down, get back into his jungle, rush that level 6, wait for Cassidy and Echo to provide that hard CC or burst damage to make anything of these lanes.
That was pretty cute coming out from Tank as well. Uses the empowered W to get a lot of health back in that lane against the melee Cassidy. Pops his health potion, ball stays there. Fairly healthy, and Voidless has yet to be able to impact the map. Meanwhile, SOFM, he's been farming up at Storm, already 10 CS ahead of this Rek'Sai on the Hecarim, picking up some items nice and early and trying to go towards that Trinity Force.
And this seems really insignificant, but SOFM has retained control of both Scuttle Crabs, both the bottom side and the top side, and that's just something that's become a staple of his jungle path. So it's nice to see, and that's where a lot of his lead is coming from.
Now he's looking to see if he can make his way towards the mid lane. Has hit level 6, but it's just going to be Athena that heads back to base. No teleport available for the Kassadin. He used it previously to get into the lane after the tank was able to shove him out. Tank still has his teleport up and ready in case there is a cross-map play.
And as soon as the TP is down, Tank has the push, and SOFM has level 6. There we go, turning it on. There's the aggressive invade that we expect from this jungler.
Something you would have expected very early on. Takes down his first opposite camp. Normally he takes more of them than he does his own, and likes to donate the rest of his buffs and camps towards the other members of his team. You can see bottom side of the map, Jin Zhao and Road maintaining good control of this lane despite the little bit of a shaky start that came out from the level 1 shenanigans of Snake. Martin and Jay-Z still being very respectful though, after Road and Jin Zhao got a lot of chunk damage on towards Martin about level 2 or 3.
And we were talking about how Voidless is really reliant on his solo laners having their ultimates available before having kill pressure on either of these lanes. Amazing J now level 7, which is why Voidless is kind of hanging around this top side. On the other side of that, SOFM now has the Onslaught of Shadows, Flandre has the Cannon Barrage, so Snake could actually look bottom to make a play happen.
Martin gonna get knocked up by Road's combo. Concussive blows will lock him back down. Good trades come out from the Civic. Gets both Road and Jin Zhao down to half their health.
SOFM is on the bottom side of the jungle though. He's actually stealing a red buff. Again, Cannon Barrage, Onslaught of Shadows.
There's a flash forward though. Knocks Martin into the turret. The final shot from Jin Zhao picks up the kill. Now Jay-Z in trouble. Cannon Barrage will force him to cancel the ultimate coming out there.
Look at this horse. This horse is amazing.
He's going to flash over the wall. That's not a ghost Hecarim. That's a flash Hecarim. He goes on to Jin Zhao, who flashes away, gets back to safety. IMA outplaying Snake there.
Just absolute disaster. That was a play that was trying to be set up. Again, SOFM moving towards the bottom side of the jungle, seeing that a Voidless was top side. You have to know that the call was going to be a dive bottom, but just miscommunicated and misplayed across multiple members of Snake. And this is the thing. You know, they looked great in game 1. You're saying, okay, this is the elite Snake. They came to play for the playoffs, but religiously, this team falls down. They've never gotten over a 4th place finish in any LPL final. They've been to 4 different splits.
So many resources being used in that bottom lane. Heal and Exhaust coming out from their bottom lane duo. Flash and Ultimate from SOFM. Cannon Barrage from Flandre. And all they got out of it was losing their AD carry. Not even a single kill there. So IMA put themselves on the board nice and early. Gold is still very even between these two teams. So Snake are not out of this one yet. As Roan now rotates towards the top side of the map, looking to try and get some vision down on towards the red buff.
And again, the priority is looking towards that top side, diving Gangplank, especially because he doesn't have his ultimate available to him.
For now, though, he's going to be helping out with taking the red buff away from SOFM. He won't like that too much. But Avoidless successfully takes it down, and we'll spot out the Hecarim running away from his Raptor camp.
That's fine. It was an elongated 1-for-1 trade anyway on the red buffs, SOFM taking Avoidless. So, no buff advantage one way or the other. It's now bottom.
Martin actually has to flash away from the Curtis call that comes out from Jin. Road threatening to get the headbutt pulverized combo down. A good move coming out from Martin, gets himself to safety. Road booked it all the way down to that bottom lane. He was just a red buff a couple of seconds ago, and that's all the credit going over towards the Moby Boots.
Yep, looking more towards that build that Mata really heavily popularized in 2015 Worlds. Obviously, adjustments to Mobies about 2-3 patches ago, putting themselves in a very healthy spot.
Yep, now 115 extra movement speed. That's
and
a lot of movement speed.
With the adjustments to Cloud Dragon,
you move very, very quick.
But it is an Infernal Drake to start us off, but no eyes and movement towards bottom lane yet.
The one time Cloud Dragon could be amazing. It's an Infernal Dragon.
Oh, I have the spiel for Cloud Dragon. I'm waiting.
Well, Snake still being very respectful towards Road and Jin Zhao, making sure they farm up as far back away from this Alistar as they possibly can.
What they're really waiting for is they were waiting for the rotation on the Onslaught of Shadows to come back up. Again, anytime Hecarim's in a composition, it does become very binary when it's locked down into its lanes. Now that SOFM has that power back available to him in tandem with the Cannon Barrage back up, the 2 ults in the top lane actually were traded interchangeably. We're going to have a play bottom.
Cannon
There's
Barrage,
1, there's 2.
Teleport, 2 teleports, 3 teleports into the bottom lane. Jin Jinjiao will fall down first, though. So advantage over towards Snake at the moment. Voiles tries to go over the back. Amazing J will lock people down with the power lock convergence. They're looking to try and get a kill. They lock down the mid lane. A big combo coming out from Aimee. They trade their support though. Now SLFM's the target. Voiles trying to get the damage down. JC, where are you going, buddy? Amazing J chases him down. The Cassidy picks up the kill in the bottom lane. And Aimee do trade 2 for 2.
They could possibly look to continue to chase, although I think Martin should be in a healthy spot with this heal up. Or excuse me, about to come up. But the big difference is the fact that Flandre's on that gangplank. He can't be a physical body down into that bot lane. All he can offer is his ultimate, whereas Amazing J on the Echo gets to join the fight, which means as soon as the initial pick was caught by Snake, they needed to reset and disengage. They didn't get that opportunity, advantage to Aimee.
And Flandre cancelled his teleport as well, and they had the numbers advantage for Oscar, despite the double teleport coming in.
It doesn't mean as much on the gangplank. Again, this guy needs setup. You need to have superior positioning towards objectives and towards plays when you have that gangplank, because you have to set up that cake damage. You just can't rock up and be like, guys, I'm here for the party.
Well, it's a 2 for 2 trade, but it does go in favor of Aimee. They get the first turret gold in the bottom lane. Now they're looking to try and take down the Infernal Dragon, but Avoidless is shoved away from the pit.
Remember, Avoidless, the Infernal Drake does ridiculous amounts of damage, so definitely need to respect that. They try to overreach a bit, but he's not burned.
Yet.
That was funny. Burned, Infernal,
Good
no.
pun, good pun for a second.
I work hard, fish.
I know. I'm a little bit slow. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
This is where you really need Raz. I make a pun I didn't even know of, and he picks it up immediately.
He's pretty sharp. But top side. So Aimee did have superior tempo advantage by taking control of the bottom lane. Although, hold on.
Amazing J in a bit of trouble, going to get locked down by 3 members. Jay-Z just tanking up the turret, trying to take as many shots as he possibly can. SFN goes back in. They're still juggling aggro, but Tank is down here now. They lock him down. Winter Spike comes out, and Power Q will come out from Tank as well. But Athena's here. Jay-Z will block up a bit of damage, does get shielded up and trying to get locked down by Tank, but he's going to be able to jump away. There's he on the hunt. There goes SOFM. He's deep into the back lines. Athena has to flash and Rift walk away. Avoidless is the next target. Jay-Z even going back in, and it will be Tank that picks up the kill. Great team play from Snake.
Oh, hold on, though. They might not be done. Athena's still trapped here.
They're still charging. There goes the empowered shield. They lock it down. He goes in. It's a lot of damage, but it's not enough. Martin lives with a sliver of health. Jay-Z gets him to stand behind Braum. And Snake get 2 kills in the bottom lane, 3 kills in the bottom lane, actually, in fantastic style.
3 blinking red health bars. And in the end, Snake will actually even this up because they should be able to take down the bottom outer turret. But tempo advantage still for Aimee because they'll have a cleaner and quicker map reset. In fact, the outer bot tower still doesn't fall. So Aimee still in relatively strong standing despite losing that trade.
And that was a player from Korea, Vietnam, and 2 Chinese players diving in the bottom lane with flawless communication. That was great to see from Snake.
It's fine. The only word that you need to know, and you know this from mic checks, is go, 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 go.
That's pretty much would have been the call there. But they juggled the turret aggro fantastically. They also trade the bottom lane out of turret, which is great too because we did see the top lane out of turret fall in favor of Aimee during that play.
My favorite is when Gnar is on the field. EDG in their comms, they say big Gnar, little Gnar, little Gnar. Oh, so good.
Meanwhile, Tank returns to the mid lane to go toe-to-toe against Athena again, who is farming underneath his turret once more. CS is even between these 2 mid laners, so Cassidy will be able to scale up quite nicely, but Tank does have 2 kills and 2 assists. Really early Morellonomicon coming out from the Karma.
This is auspicious.
Voiles looking to try and take down the Infernal Drake, spots out that pink ward. Road will look to try and take it down, already at half health. No contest coming out from Snake just yet. Cannon Barrage nice and early as well as a teleport. Voiles trapped for now. He wants to try and finish this. He's being exhausted, still gets it, but will get taken down by Snake. They look to try and turn on the pressure though, so they look to try and engage. Road goes in, big Pulverize comes out. SFM goes in, he's very low, will get taken down. Kurtakor comes out from Jinjiao, looking for the fight. Amazing J uses ultimate in time, gets taken down by Flandre. Snake do trade 2 for 1, but they lose the Infernal Dragon.
And again, Aimee just taking these slight chip leads by picking up the important objectives on the back of these fights. That's where Aimee shine, though, is the fact that they had a vision advantage setting up that big headbutt pulverize combo for Road. They need more of that and less of that guy getting caught.
They certainly do, but still a big dragon pickup for Aimee. That is a very good scaling dragons ahead later into the game.
But that's the important word there, scaling. So yes, it is good that Aimee picked up the Infernal Drake. No one will deny that. But right now, like 16 minutes in the game, it really doesn't mean a swing of power one way or the other. So Snake still in relatively healthy fashion.
That's right, even with the Dragon being that important, very early on, it's only about 10 AP per player, based on how much they picked up. But Flandre, he's in trouble. Athena and Rhoda collapsing on him. They've even brought a Voiles up here. This is just depressing to watch for Oscarin.
And this is the bigger concern. It's that now that the outer towers have dropped in both the side lanes, it's really unlocked Aime's composition, which again, is incredibly mobile, is incredibly scrappy.
Looking to try and bring Snake down to their level and beat them at it, so to speak. Snake, you know, can't quite go in that one direction that they were used to for Oscarin. Kind of getting derailed a little bit.
Game 1 was a drag race. This time around, a bit more curves. We're heading towards the ditch.
Yep, they're going to have to try and learn to drift. If not, they're just going to fall off the cliff here. But still fairly even between Snake and Aime at the moment. Voiles has been taking good control over Vision around the river for now. Athena picks up blue buff for himself as well. Has his Sheen as his next item, going towards a Lich Bane nice and early. Yeah,
and speaking of big item breakpoints, you have the 2 Trinity Forces now available for Snake. So in very healthy standing, should we come to another 5v5, but without a Dragon or Arena to contest for, we should probably see a bit of the team sitting back, continuing to funnel in that farm, and then waiting for that next big opportunity.
Well, to see when the one strikes for these two teams. Athena's still farming up at Storm. He is overtaking the CS that Tank picked up for himself early.
Well, both eyes should be looking at A, these mid towers, or B, the Rift Herald. So right now, Snake is actually looking towards that Rift Herald. They've taken the initiative, moved in, gotten superior vision control over the pit, although they don't have control of Scuttle.
Amazing J is slowly rotating up, has his teleport available, but more importantly, Jin Jiao very far away from this pit. Rift Herald will fall, but they want to fight for it. It will be taken down by SOFM. Teleport's coming in for Amazing J. Jin Jiao still very far away, so a 4-5 to start things off. Cannon Barrage trying to separate the teams. Snake taking a bit of damage, getting low. Kurtzakor gets popped up. Jay-Z will tank up damage with his shield, gets to safety. Amazing J over the back half of the fight. Lockdown onto Flandre. Double knockup coming out for them. SOFM's gone deep in as well. The Rek'Sai gets obliterated. Amazing J has to keep running away. Tank will have to flash away as well. Martin going toe-to-toe against Jin Jiao. The crit shot comes in. Lives with a silver help, but Deathfire Touch might take him down eventually. Athena now in trouble. Has to rift walk away. Bouncing grenade gets him and gets the double kill. Beautiful to watch coming out from Jin Jiao. Deadly flourish for the triple. And Aime fight back strong.
All eyes need to be on Amazing J. He set that up beautifully for his team, flashing over the wall and catching them all in the try. Aime continued to display their scrappy teamfight ability, which is why they made it so far during the regular season of the LPL. Check out this teamfight. All eyes really need to be on Amazing J. So right now he's on Martin. He forces the flash out of Sivir early, which means that Sivir has to be so careful in these teamfights. Flashes over the wall here, catches everyone in that tiny little choke point, and then all of the AoE damage starts funneling in. Now that Martin doesn't have his flash, he's playing around this edge of Fog of War, which is why he has to continually back off. If he has his flash, he's much more confident making that play. Amazing J set this up for success from the very beginning, and Jin Jiao just finished it off.
That bouncing grenade was just fantastic to watch. But still, Aime do clean up that team fight. Snake really feels like they're misplaying that because it was a 4-on-5. Not quite sure what the Cannon Barrage goals were from Flandre as well. Just didn't do anything at all during that fight.
We talk about how Snake have more versatility in their playbook in terms of the compositions that they have experience running. This time around, running more of a traditional 5v5 composition. The thing is that Snake know that they're not good at 5v5ing, which is very peculiar because you're in the LPL. That's what this region has really been known for. But there's a reason why Snake manufactured the lane swap, and we're the only team in the LPL to really debut it for the longest time. It's because they knew they couldn't 5v5, so they needed to find advantages early.
Well, 6.15, 5v5s, lane swaps are something that we don't really see anymore for Oscarin, unfortunately for Snake. So they try to get cheeky and get a gank on towards Amazing J in the top lane. Not successful as he just hops and skips away from the oncoming Braum and the Sivir.
I like the fact that they've still been pushing the meta in creative ways, though, by looking for those cheeky level 1s. See if they have any more tricks in their bag. Because again, it's a best-of-5 series. We gave it to Snake just because they are more versatile of a team. You know that Aime is going to hit you with the same punch every single time. This time around, though, Snake seem a little bit tired and can't get out of the way.
We're checking with the gold between these two teams. Aime have taken the gold lead. They're about 2,000 gold ahead of Snake. And they've already shown what they can do during a prolonged team fight, even without their AD carry to start things off. Rift Herald was taken down by Aime, was not able to check out to see if anyone on their team actually picked up the buff during that chaotic team fight.
I think Flandre died on top of it. No.
It is possible.
We'll check when it pauses back over, because it's either going to be on SOFM or Flandre, so we'll check for that glimpse of the void as the Mountain Dragon has spawned. Again, Infernal Drake in the pocket of Aime at 21 minutes. It means a lot more than it did at 16 when they picked it up. And we should be seeing both of these teams setting up for the 5v5, or really we should see Snake just kind of give this one away. They're not really in a great position. They're still waiting for those break points on Martin. Let's
see if they do. We do have Flandre heading back to base. He does pick up the Trinity Force as well as the Yomu's Ghost Blade. It's a big power spike for him.
It's really risky right now just because Jin Zhao is so strong on Jin right now. 5, 1, and 2. Has 2 completed items, the Dusk Blade as well as that Ghost Blade.
It's not just him as well. You can even see Athena's. He's picked up the Lich Bane on his Kassadin. And for this will actually start off the Mountain Dragon. He's got his jungle item completed. The Cinderhawk is ready. Tiamat is his next item, so going more towards the Tiamat build on Rek'Sai.
So the primary goal for Snake right now is just to reach those item breakpoints. They want to try to get deep freezes on these lanes. They want to slow down the tempo of the pace of the game and try to level up Martin and Flandre into healthy places. Because again, late game, they still have a ton of tools and a ton of power. Aime, they're in control of the game. They need to start taking control. Pedal to the metal and take a page out of Snake's playbook.
The Snake have stopped the bleeding and are slowly recovering as well. They're only about 1,000 gold behind Aime at the moment. 2 big dragons have been picked up by Aime, so we'll be scaling nicely into late game if they do decide to take Snake to that level of play.
It's now a question of where they're going to siege next. The most important turret on the game, or in the map, is going to be that mid-inner. They could always just open up the Jin ultimate and attempt to siege, but picks much more relevant to their composition, especially on that Kassadin. I'm waiting for the Jin ult to open.
Eventually
They're
will.
Not going to pull the trigger on it.
But not yet. Martin and Jay-Z move back towards the top side of the map, going toe-to-toe against Amazing Jay, who is split pushing. Tank almost gets locked down. Jin Zhao was looking for the deadly flourish, and Athena looking for lots of burst damage with this Kassadin. See, Athene's Unholy Grail was picked up by the Karma, so he can be healing up his team quite nicely. We saw Wayless use the item very effectively last night in his matches against Newbie.
And in tandem with Karma and Sivir, the wave clear on Snake is incredibly powerful if they're in position for it. Okay. I think I may need to not be so patient with the Jin ultimate. They need to take a bit more risks because they do have this tempo lead.
Yeah, they have found SOFM. They get some decent damage on towards them, forced to use the onslaught of shadows to run away, from the Alistar Castle, and immediately I may pull the trigger on towards Baron.
It's because they've chunked out SOFM, so they think they won't be contested for the smite, but he's coming back.
Oh, there's a teleport coming in as well. Amazing J wants to try and get towards this pit as fast as possible. Cannon Barrage does come out nice and early. SOFM looking for the flash over the wall, getting get knocked back by the Alistar, and Jin will pick up the Baron to start things off. Snake loses the major objective. Amazing J's going over the wall. Jay-Z's tanking up the ultimate coming out from Jin. Good flash to block the shot that was charging on towards Tank. Snake to escape with their lives, but they lose the Baron buff against Aime.
And Road making up for his performance in Game 1. This Game 2, that was so crucial in the Alistar, chaining the CC and locking up SOFM so he cannot contest for the Baron.
And you mentioned the Curtain Call would probably be what is used to break the mid lane out of turret, but seems like Baron buff is all they really need for Oscar. And
that was such a high-risk, high-reward play, though. And again, this is why Aime, they finished third, but this is why I don't consider them an elite team in the LPL. The much safer play is to open up your ultimate and to siege on that mid tower. As long as you have good flanking vision, you should be okay, especially when you chunk out SOFM that hard. Looking for the Baron, that was a 50-50 smite, and if Roe didn't execute perfectly on that, they could have swung the game way back in Snake's favor. This time, it works out. Next time, maybe not.
Well, I may have picked up a 3,000 gold lead for themselves. If they continue pushing for this mid lane out of turret, that'll increase to 4. Flandre has a word or two to say about it, but eventually the turret does fall down, and Snake have to retreat towards their inner turret and continue their base defense against a Baroned up Aime.
That's okay, though. They have a credible wave clear, especially against Baroned up creeps, because they have the Gangplank available. So again, it's really on Aime making sure that they can catch Snake cheating through their jungle in between these 2 pressure points. You see on the bottom side of the map, Athena's actually creating a big wave there.
There's the Curtical you were talking about, Frosker, and looking for the mid lane inner turret. SFM gets comboed out by Road, and there's the Karma trying to keep everyone healthy with the shield, but they do just concede the mid lane in a turret, give it up and give it over to Aimee, who are still pushing for more objectives.
And the reason they're able to do that is because Gangplank was bottom to match the Kassadin. Gangplank's the primary wave clear against the Baroned up creeps.
5,000 gold lead for Aimee. They're trying to push for more. Still a lot of time on this Baron buff, so they're more than happy to wait for mini waves to collapse on towards the base. We did have Athena split pushing on his Kassadin. He's got the Zhonya's Hourglass ready to keep himself alive if he does dive deep into the back lines. They pull the trigger road with a big pulverize to start things off. JC the target, the turret will fall. SFM goes in, but only hits the front line with his onslaught of shadows. And Snake will lose their inhibitor turret. They're still trying to chase on towards Aimee, but they've got a long way to run if they want to catch them down.
They don't necessarily want to catch them. Maybe some stragglers.
They're going
speaking
in.
Of straggler.
Road taking a lot of damage, forced to use the pulverize to knock them back. Will run over the trap coming out from Jim, which gets swept away. Flandre does get a pick. But nothing else will get. Well, Snake will take nothing else.
So again, if we're looking at kind of high risk versus high rewards play, the reason why Snake don't want to go 100% on that engagement is because if something goes wrong, if Aimee are able to turn that fight, the game ends right there.
Now they found a Voiless. He's going to try and run over the wall. Has been exhausted by Jay-Z. Concussive blows should come out with one more auto attack, but they don't connect on towards Aimee's jungler.
So instead, they hold back, they show restraint, they manage to save their inhibitor. So all in all, a great trade and recovery from Snake. Aimee still in control though. Next dragon will be in 1 minute. I believe it's another Mountain Drake. So we'll see if Snake are in a better position to contest for that, especially because they now have kind of an open farm wave. Although Martin's itemization still very far behind, not looking for that, or he's looking for wave clear first because they have an inhib tower down, but still far away from that Infinity Edge, which is going to be the true breakpoint on Sivir's damage.
Still very difficult to fight for once you are 5,500 gold behind. Aimee looking a lot stronger in the second match. Snake is still fighting back strongly, trying to seize whatever opportunity they can in this match.
You have to think, looking forward in this best of 5, Snake need to kind of rely on their gimmicks and tricks, look towards those poke compositions, or these cheeky 1v1 priority for SOFM and Flandre. It seems like they took a step backwards, not empowering their 2 carries on the team.
Well, Aimee looking towards taking down the inhibitor in the mid lane. No Baron buff for them, but they're just brute forcing their way into Snake's base. No response coming out from them just yet. Amazing J zones out everyone. Hecarim was looking for the flank. The inhibitor, a couple more auto attacks will be all it takes. There he goes into the back lines. He's on top of Jin Jiao, but he's going to get taken down by the Dustblade of Drakthar to kick things off. Kurtakor comes up next, going in on towards Jay-Z. Puts up the shield, but is it going to be enough? It doesn't seem like it. It's the 4th shot lands on towards Tank. Athena's in the back lines. Tank has to run away. Road runs in with a headbutt pulverized combo as well. And the only person left alive for Snake is Martin. Blinking health bars for Aimee, but they do take down the mid lane inhibitor.
And Snake almost lose the game right there.
They could potentially do so. Still, Aimee were threatening to push in, but they do head back to base.
The reason why is because there's so many low health bars, and because it's Sivir who survived. If Sivir had gone down, undisputedly, Aimee would have ended the game there. But it's just a single ricochet before she picks up a triple kill. So I like the respect. You know, the dragon's up and available. Just reset, pick up the Mountain Dragon. It's going to make that Baron in 1 minute 48 seconds even easier to take because now you have double Mountain. But that's that high risk, high reward thing that I'm talking about. You know, Aimee can afford to go super hard, super ham in those situations because even if they lose there, the only thing that Snake would get is they would save their inhibitor and possibly get a dragon, especially because it was in between the Baron cooldown. Whereas Snake, you cannot afford to make that big of an error in your engagement.
You can see off the back of that play, Aimee now 8,000 gold ahead of Snake. Very brutal team fight that went in their favor. You can see the damage dealt. Martin was doing everything he could with those ricochets, trying to get them into the back lines, trying to make sure he can chunk out members of Aimee's team. A few more ricochets would have been enough to take down everybody on Aimee's lineup, but now his team is even further behind.
A few more items would have made the big difference there. Again, that's a Sivir that was sitting on Armor Penetration, a Zeal, and an Essence Reverse, so still missing those big ticket items. Now has completed her Armor Pen all the way.
We'll pick up the Mortal Reminder, trying to reduce the healing that comes out from multiple Aimee members. But they're still in such a sticky situation. Baron's coming up in 35 seconds. They're desperately trying to make sure they get control over the pit. And it really all came down from SFM getting picked off and chunked out to the Baron buff that Aimee picked up afterwards.
And now this game comes later and later, and we saw in game 1 that the longer the timer went on, the better Aimee really looked. Goes back to Snake really struggling in their 5v5s, which you talked about the 3 different languages. coming into their team comms.
It's really a big test for Snake now. It still is only the second game of this best-of-5 series. Aimee looking to fight back nice and strong. Snake still holding on, trying to see if they can get the miracle win they're looking for. I mean, LGD were able to pull it off yesterday against Newbie in their Game 3 match to pull it back from a 10,000 gold deficit very late into the game as well. Snake are not out yet, but it's definitely a dire situation for them at the moment.
And Aimee have shown that they would prioritize the Baron before their sieging capabilities on the composition, although they could find a pick here.
They pull the trigger, they knock Jay-Z back into the team. He's going to get obliterated before the fight starts. Teleports are coming into the brush next to the Raptor camp, but SOFM's being jumped on. The Curtical deals a lot of damage. The crit comes out as well. He's running for the heals, but Aimee have 5 members strong chasing on towards Snake. Flandre eventually joins the fight. He already used the cannon barrage to try and dissuade Aimee from continue chasing, but now they go straight back to try and take down the Baron.
And the big thing is that SOFM A needs to heal, but B, his flash is down as well as the onslaught of shadows is down, which means he has that much farther to run if he wants to 50-50 contest this smite. That's 2 mountain dragons. This Baron is burning quick. He's not there in time.
The rest of Snake wanted to try and contest for it, not going to get close enough. Aimee pick up the Baron with this major objective, look to go back to base to pick up one final shot before they try to push in towards Snake's base.
And Snake survived the initial onslaught of the first Baron, but can they survive the second one? Not if SOFM continues to get caught here.
Well, there's a teleport coming to the mid lane from Athena. Road gets a big combo on towards the Hecarim. He's going to get locked down by Athena, and in a perfect position for Aimee to take down the top lane in a turret.
Night and day performance from Aimee. Again, we congratulate them coming out of the LSPL as Edward eSports rebranding to Aimee, picking up a new owner. They've now got Whites, who owns the organization formerly of Starhorn Royal Club in their 2013 run. But taking third in the much more competitive Group B, and now finding the quarterfinals in the playoffs, possibly looking to go past
They're looking to win here. Tank gets taken down immediately. A big pulverize comes out from Road to lock down all 3 remaining members of Snake. Jay-Z gets delivered back into the team. Only Flandre's left alive. It's actually a double kill that comes out from Road. Night and day performance for Aimee. Night and day performance for Road as well, as they push on towards the Nexus to pick up a Game 2 victory over Snake eSports and tie up this best-of-5 series 1-1.
Road is the heart and soul of this team. When he looks good, the rest of Aimee looks good. But true MVP should go to Amazing J, and if he doesn't get it, I feel like he's been robbed.
Certainly looks like it. He had a fantastic performance on his Echo in the top lane, but in general, Aimee looked great in that second match. They played more like a team. They played more towards their win conditions.
But that's the thing. It's the same win condition every single time. They have a single play, they have a single blueprint, and they have a single punch. You know that Aimee throughout the best-of-5 is always going to come with these very scrappy, very mobile, skirmish-heavy compositions. Snake, they mix it up. They go from a siege comp to a 5v5, and they try to play Aimee's game. Why do it? Just outmaneuver them on the map. You've proven that you can do it in Game 1.
Whenever we talk about Snake, we always highlight SOFM. He is the superstar jungler for the team, and that one catch that Aimee got onto him just completely opened up the game. They were able to take the victory from then out.
I feel like it's a scenario where you're facing Aimee and you know it's going to be a knife fight, and you have the option that you can bring, you know, a different weapon to the knife fight.
You can bring a gun.
You can bring a gun to a knife fight, and instead Snake are like, haha, let's match them with our dagger. It's like a Princess Bride scenario. Like just nicely handing them the knife, okay.
The gentleman agreement, basically, between these two teams. But it doesn't work out for Snake. This was the big team fight that really separated the two teams as well.
And this was Amazing J's big MVP performance. Of course, Athena and Jin Zhao, the primary benefactors of that great Echo setup. But again, all eyes on Amazing J. He really went off this game in tandem with Road.
And it really feels like whenever Snake went for these team fights, they just made all these micro errors that kept adding up. The cannon barrages were used so early. SOFM couldn't find the engage he was looking for. And it really just shows that Aimee are that stronger team fighting team, and it was great to see that they were able to execute that this time around.
No, it makes sense because Aimee have actually been together longer than the Snake roster. Yes, they've had a rotating roster between their jungle and their mid lane before really definitively settling on a voidless over midi, constantly rotating between Baimi and Athena. But again, it doesn't change the identity of the team that much. Whereas on the other side, Snake, you know, they had a late start of picking up SOFM into that roster. You're dealing with Tank for about a split there, so this is still kind of a development cycle for them, and they've made it very far besides that.
They certainly have, but they still have a series on their hand to try and make it into the next stages of this playoff run. The series is tied up 1-1. We're going to a very quick break, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back with game number 3 in just a bit.